It's Primah Day, it's Primah Day. I tell you what my favorite color. Well done.
Guys, welcome to PPJ.
Thank you. Welcome to PPJ.
Thank you.
Today you're the first P in the PPJ.
I'm the first P. Thank you. Thank you. And the matriarch.
Yeah. Thank you so
is
much.
Anyway, hi Alan.
Our matriarch, some people don't know your name.
Pumla Nabacha is my name.
And our patriarch.
I'm Humza Joel.
And our arc.
Busby Alan.
And the other arc.
I want to start the episode in a different way.
All right. First go.
I want to go to the comment section. I was seeing some comments, but you guys were not responding to them.
Tell us.
I don't know what you were fearing. Let me start.
Don't mess up our relationships.
Let me start. I love how Primah's hand was all over Joel, regardless of the sitting distance.
Did you see
the
how
pressure increases or decreases?
Decreases.
Guess what? Decreases. Another one. Meanwhile, Primah and Joel, one day you shall get a room. I like how Primah and Joel vibe. But if they were married, trust me, they would have been a bit reserved around Pumla. Because why would you bring your romance on set and let me be a third wheel here?
It's true. But who is the first wheel? Who is wheel number one?
Guys, Primah and I are friends. We love each other. We've known each other for a long time. And also, I'm scared of Primah's husband.
All right.
So please, let me not fight a Uganda man in Uganda.
Thank you.
I can fight a Uganda man in Healng, but not here. So thank you very much. We love each other, but it's purely platonic.
Completely.
With other people, I won't explain. Thanks.
Go back and sit with Pumla.
Who are other people?
Ready? So, Wanange, guys, we're going to continue. You're happy to be here.
Yeah.
Before we get into that topic, guys, I've been thinking in my head, what has been keeping you awake? Just in life. Since the last time. What has been keeping you awake?
I had a little bit of anxiety. And I don't get anxious at all. I've been anxious only once in my life before this, and this was when my son was sitting for his primary 7 exams.
And all of us were like,
all in it.
That's the only time and I never even recognized the feeling. I just said what I was feeling to somebody, and they told me that's anxiety. I was like, what? What's this? I hate this feeling. So I felt it a little bit again in the past 2 weeks. My institution where I work, we've been going through a re-engineering, a restructuring. So we were made to, so my job was joined, merged, and upgraded. And so I had to do an interview for it. So and I didn't know if I was going to get the job. So I was in a limbo, like wondering if I don't get this job, then now I go back down a level, like to be part of a.
But you'd still be employed. Right?
I'll still be employed, but then it was either that I got down. I wasn't going to stay at the same level. It was either I got down, or I get upgraded, and I passed the interview. But there was a period there where I was just wondering, like, questioning, and saying. My career, I've decided to.
So did people outside of the bank
so
apply?
Internal. So they started internal, and so we're still going through it. I think between now and maybe November, and then after that, whatever places stay vacant. So people are even allowed to leave the bank if they feel that the jobs maybe that they're given they don't want them for whatever reason, or they've gone for whatever reason. So that's going to go until I think about November. Then they'll advertise whatever. Places remain vacant, will advertise.
You think
PPJ at the bank? Come on.
Yeah, so that kept me awake for a little bit there for a while. And now I'm back like I never.
Could you tell that she was anxious about that?
No one can
ever know.
No one can ever know, except for Teja. For Teja we knew. I remember when results came back, I looked for Pumla. I was like, Pumla, please, as in even me, I was anxious.
The only thing that can know I'm anxious is my bed, because I don't sleep, I stay awake.
For real?
Because me, I have no issue sleeping. When I hear people saying, I feel like, me as soon as I put my head on the pillow, I'm out. I'm out. So I think these are the only 2 times I've had where I was
I can tell,
awake. Like just there awake.
I also don't get anxious much.
You don't even cry.
I don't cry, remember.
At least me, I cry.
I don't get anxious.
You don't cry.
When did you last cry?
When did I cry? It's this year. I'm trying to remember. It's this year because it shocked me so much I had to go to the mirror.
And see what you look like
I'm
crying. Did you keep posting that?
Yes, then I was like, so. I'm trying to remember, what was it? I don't even remember. But
you hit your toe, small toe, and I
called it. You want to tell us, because by the time it might be.
Yes, yeah.
Is it something we did?
No, I don't remember. Andrew, what has been keeping you awake?
The people who've been arrested. So
So
the march to Parliament. One of my nephews was actually part of that thing, and I knew he was going to get arrested. So thankfully, some guys put together the website. They put together a website of missing persons. My thanks to the guys who did that. So we're able to use that to find him. He was taken to a different station, and just navigating the whole thing of how we were supposed to see prisoners at this time. He was going to be in remand for this long. And when I spoke to him, it was like he had spoken to some guys who'd been on remand for 5 years. Or is he actually? No, they went for the march, but they were arrested at Oasis Mall just before they got there. So the scary thing was the charges that were being put were like, oh, you guys are agents of imperialism. He was like, agent? I wish I was an agent. I wish they could pay me. So I realized that I don't understand enough how this government actually works. So sitting with the lawyers and them telling me, like, do you realize this guy is going to get out on bail, then he's going to go back to try and get employment, it's going to be on his mark, so this is how we have to plead the thing. Then he's also diabetic, and there were issues with how we're going to get him his medicine. Then they had to prove that he was
actually diabetic?
Yeah, he is. He's been since he was like 16. So yeah, it was just a wake-up call, just how much is going on. And when I went to work, it was weird. Like, I would go there and see, oh, this is happening. The traders are going on strike. Medical interns are not going. Then I go to office and people are like just talking about, the economy is kawa. We're moving here. It's like there's such a disconnect where I am from the way things are. So it kept me awake in terms of a lot of young guys are just looking at, where am I going to go? Like people who've left uni. He left uni like 2 years ago. He's only now started working. And he was second in his class when he graduated computer science. So he has this frustration of, I was told to do all these things, I failed to get them. And he's looking at me like, Mr. C, can you get me a job? I'm like, I'm trying, but other people are laying off other guys. So that kept me awake.
Oh, for those of you who don't know, Uganda, we had a peaceful protest against corruption in the country.
Hashtag march to Parliament.
Yeah, at the end of July.
Yeah.
But unlike our neighbors, our brothers and sisters, for us it was destroyed even before it started. Unlike where I work, because I work in the Central Business District, they just closed off all the roads.
They did.
You could not access the Parliament. So how Kenyans went and even were able to steal the mess, you know, you could not even access the road leading to the road to Parliament, to the administrative
our situation
area.
is different.
We are militarily occupied.
Our situation is different.
And we have a really high security intelligence, because when I look at what was happening in Kenya, in Nairobi, I was like, how does the police, the law enforcement in Uganda let you gather yourselves?
And then they show up with horses.
They hear about it. Actually, you find
but you
the police waiting for you.
I think the difference
waiting for you.
In Kenya was that there were individuals on the inside who were, because like they issued a thing where they were saying there were people who are working in government, people working in police, who feel like they were aiding with some anonymous information. So it was like a collaborative effort. Here we are still very disparate. Like the guys who are doing the things for interns are on their own thing. The traders were also looking and saying, what are these guys marching for? So like we are still very fractured.
But also we have to remember that we have food. The number one reason why people go on strike or protest or go to war is because they don't have the basic need. The most basic need is food. So when you find that your access to food or resources that actually keep you alive, the brain is wired to survive. If you keep nurturing your brain with food, you're not pushed to a level of desperation that brings you to the street. When you have food, the katogo.
By the way, let me tell you.
Please, this is not in Uganda. We can say we are going to strike. We take off.
Then at lunchtime.
We
are coming back.
Go for down there there in the market. For Ngume Satu. Just get a meal for 3,000 Uganda shillings, and we don't come back. That is it. That now we are fed, we are full. Now what? But when you grow up, Kenya is predominantly semi-arid. Their land is what is that? Is barren. And I let to use the word. It's barren. So their food prices are actually high.
Our Kenyan audience.
So when you increase
despite
taxes,
barren land,
again, their finance bill is really about the fact that they were increasing taxes. When you increase taxes, it means your food prices are going to go up because everybody has to pay a tax. So the people who are buying, who are also selling food, have to pay certain taxes. So how do you think they're going to get the money to pay those taxes? They have to bill the consumer. So as long as food is expensive or not or inaccessible in your area, you will go to the streets.
They also have cooperatives.
When they put the announcement of 26th July is the protest march, did we go to office?
Nobody. Those who are protesting.
I didn't go. I was like, those who are protesting, go and
protest. See you.
We'll see you.
What is it? No, but we also have a history. We also have a bit of real proper history of war.
So the difference of protectorates and settler colonies. Because part of the Kenyan thing is they also have cooperatives. So like there are avenues where, this movement is beginning for farmers, then you have means by us, we are on solid. Do you guys know your neighbors really well?
Me, I do because of where I stay.
Me too.
I live in a
everywhere you've gone, you've always known them.
This is the first time.
Yeah, so I feel like here it's
my
different.
neighbors anywhere.
I've always known my
where I live now. But we are proud of the Gen Zs, are we not?
We are.
I'm so proud.
We are. Are we proud of the Ugandan Gen Zs?
Yeah, we are. It's the millennials that we are like.
About the Kenyan ones because. We are proud of the Kenyan
for yourself.
What do they do for me?
No, the Kenyan. I'm sorry.
We are one East African. You play East African. Please, we are one.
Actually, let's be fair. Most likely, the Ugandan Gen Zs were
inspired by the.
So we are
proud. We are
influenced.
We are proud.
We are proud.
Have you seen how we spent 10 minutes on what is keeping you awake?
What is that? Najera Bulindo
Road. Can you put some footage of that road?
The Najera Bulindo Road.
It is dusty.
Who needs to attend to that road?
It's like driving through Sahara.
First leave, it is dusty. They milled the road. Like whichever. No, yesterday I can't.
Wait.
But with your big
car.
car.
Of Nigeria to Chida.
Yes.
It's not done.
No, auntie, yes, but no, they milled it. No, they milled it and then they did nothing about it.
They left it.
Dust. And dust, but plus also it is full of, they're not even potholes. You know, like a road that's just bumpy.
I haven't used it in a long time.
Tried.
But because of that, because I was told that they were working on the road, so I don't know what it looks like.
No, I tried it last night. By the time I got home, I just drank water and bathed and slept. It is so bad. Is it that bad? It's really bad.
You don't like bumpy rides?
It's really bad. Anyway,
coming down. How do you live?
Anyway,
where were you last month? What country were you in last month?
Can you reach here when you're drunk? This road.
She told us it was in one more Western Sahara. I said, where are you getting the visa?
No, because I use Gayaza Road usually, but the traffic is bad. So when I want to access my home, sometimes I use this. I could not believe it.
You'd rather go to
do you know awake as you were doing the interview? Najera Blindo is what was keeping me up. Anyway,
I think knowing the car she drives, if she's complaining about
can we get footage of that?
Because ordinarily we would say that your car beats.
You're not in a sauce,
but man,
dear,
she's the president.
She's
amazing. Look who's talking. Anyway, guys, so today we are continuing from where we stopped last time. We're continuing. We're going to talk about now relationships.
God help us.
Relationships.
God help us. God help us.
And how our mindsets have changed.
Okay.
Through relationships. Now you guys, maybe you're still dating.
Some of us are just eating.
Some of you are just what?
Nothing.
Hey, you're not dating. Chola, are you dating?
No, I'll explain. I have with someone.
Yeah. Kumla, are you dating?
No, there's no question. Excuse me, I haven't started.
Kumla, are you dating?
Me,
I'm married. So we've said our situation.
Yeah, there's a significant
dating,
other.
married.
Wait, when you said dating, are you in a dating pool? In a partnership?
You're in a partnership.
Okay.
So you're in a partnership.
I am in a partnership.
I'm in a thing.
Babe, for Pumla, those words I feel like they've come from
By the way, she had to ask about.
Yeah, I was like, she's even more serious than the intern.
Furrowed brow. Do you need a lawyer?
She's like, I'm in a partnership.
Yes, sir.
I am in a partnership.
You're like in a partnership?
I am in a thing. I am in I'm in cahoots with someone.
You're in cahoots.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, we saw Ribena in the fridge.
I know, that's Ribena
job from her Joel's home.
Yeah.
There was Ribena, and we know he doesn't drink Ribena.
So we know.
Yeah.
There must be someone that is
These
in a
people are
partnership.
entering my life inch by inch. I don't understand.
And so you guys, how have the people you are dating or the way that you are dating changed over the years?
So
have you got a shot of the fire?
at basic level, simply, I think before, when I was much younger, I dated for vibes, like passion. Me, I had to feel that fire of Camille's and Bones.
I go for real.
Oh my God. What was the other one? Those guys where they tell you that he
ripped off his back.
She was reading Song of Songs.
There was another one. What was it? Not Mills and Bones.
What's her name, that lady?
The sex scenes were so descriptive.
Like,
they awoke.
Oh, I read one of those books when they were like, he was throbbing. That word ruined throbbing.
Throbbing. Oh. Yeah. Like I literally had to feel some kind of throbbing sensation, fire. Yeah. So when you vibed me and I felt that thing, me, I moved with the chemistry. Uni. My first boyfriend was in S6 vacation. Okay. Yeah.
You didn't date in school?
No, I was a tomboy. I was full-blown tomboy in school. Yeah, I didn't date. I first kissed in S6 vacation. Yeah, I was full-blown tomboy, and like the boys around, I just hung out with like guys who saw me like that. Yeah. I was the one who actually used to line them with my girlfriends. Like used to hang out with boys from coaching and stuff. So high school, nothing at all. I never even felt those things. To be honest, nothing.
No one confessed their feelings to you?
They did
you were
later.
Not interested?
They did later. Then they were like me. I was the one who was friend zoning them before friend zoning was even a word. But me, I was just tomboy, basic word. These are guys we used to watch porn together, guys.
Pardon?
In a high school, they've sent us for coaching.
But in high school, in our days, wasn't porn in books.
VHS. No, in the day.
Primah,
you put in the.
Primah, hold on.
We're not that old. After coaching, we go up to one to get flats. Those my career flats.
And you watch a blue movie. You know it's called them blue movies.
In S2.
Porn.
Guys still doing buns and banners.
14, 15, 16.
But hold on, when you sit there with guys, because I have a question.
And you'll be the only girl.
First time
because I felt nothing, guys, at that age. I really didn't feel anything.
So what they comment, would you talk about like nice technique?
Yeah, they are talking about what they are like preparing for their girlfriends. Why I had lined them away. Yeah.
So you knew what was coming for your friends?
I knew.
This guy is about to give you reverse wheelbarrow.
But I was happy for them because they were looking at it was anyway. You guys.
So you dated for vibes.
So yeah, I dated for vibes, passion. So my first boyfriend was in S6 vacation. We were going into uni, and he's the one who broke my virginity. That was the first. Yeah. But that was passion.
Took it.
And after that again, passion. Me, when I feel the chemistry, I just go. Yeah. But now more or less and that caused me problems because I'm not looking at anything else. It's just that we are chemistry is there. Nothing else. I don't care. So that's how I found myself like my relationships have been short term for a very long time just because of that. Then now when I'm older, I now look at aligned, common values, shared values. Character comes. Yeah. So I first tick the character box. When I know the character box is ticked, now I look at what are our common shared values. Foundation for me is important. Yeah. Because we are going to have conflict, we're going to fight, but let's not fight about foundation, about deep core issues. I'm not ever going to compromise on things. So I don't want us now to enter a part of the relationship. Then now you say, you want to throw away 2 years. You want to throw away 3 years. No. I'm not compromising for shit about shit. Yeah. So let's first
use your words.
We're going to be bleeping this whole episode.
Those boxes and shit is not allowed.
No, please go ahead. No, okay. no. Thanks.
How can you? No.
Yeah. We're just going to be just keep saying them.
But I just want to say but if I go into the core of it, let's therapize my situation.
Yeah. No. So you dated chemistry for chemistry. Now it's
shared values and shared values and belief systems. The foundation. Okay. Everything else we can see how to navigate as long as our root, our foundation.
And what are the things
kind
in your
of shared? Like for me, and now let me come to that story.
Okay.
So I grew up in a traditional Uganda household.
Yeah.
Our viewers who don't know, Baganda, we are a tribe. We are a tribe in
Let me hear you
Uganda.
describing
16% of the Ugandan population.
Yeah.
So we are the biggest ethnic group.
Okay.
Ethnic is Bantu.
The biggest ethnic group is
business tribe.
sweet.
16% out of over 52 tribes in Uganda.
Okay.
We have
we have
16%. Over 52. We were 52
But even
at
me
one
now,
point. Now
Uganda.
others, So over time we've increased, but then I try to check the statistics, but nobody's putting a number.
The exact number.
The last time they put a number, it was 52. But now they keep on saying over 52.
Okay.
So I don't know where others crept up from or anything. So I grew up in a home where my father, I've said this before, our home was progressive, but it was still family rooted in tradition. So the home I grew up in, my mother is a PhD, she has a PhD, but she's still traditional. So the dynamic in my home, my father was a typical Uganda in the sense that my dad provided, he protected, he professed, he was full-time provider.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
My mom, and he was a king.
Also, you thought.
Who
also
treated, it looked clear. This is what I'm saying as a child.
Yeah.
Even now, when I look back, I can see it in retrospect.
Yeah.
My mom was the queen of the household, but I always felt like for my mom to be queen, she had to earn it.
Okay.
Yeah, like I felt like she had to treat her husband as a king to be treated as a queen.
Not just.
And I feel like that transactional arrangement is great for women, for certain kinds of people. My mother was career oriented.
Yeah.
She was educated. She was
at a time when it was
at a time. I'm saying PhD. At a time when my mother is over 70 years old. I'm not talking about now. Now women just drop off and get study how they want. So she's a woman who had a master's degree and in sciences. You see, like it was
I'm not happy. What do you mean? What's wrong with that?
No.
What about the humanities?
What's wrong with humanities?
You know, there's a reason why our government is promoting sciences now. Yeah, but they are more male dominated.
Okay.
She's accepting with that asterisk.
Nothing at all. Yeah.
Now you just throw a stone. Just hit us.
Yeah, and I felt it. I was like,
she felt. Why are you hitting me? I am also educated in my things.
No. Because
why are you insecure?
Please continue.
The interview has changed. Now we're not doing this one. We are finished. Let's give up.
No, Hapumla continue. Okay. So your mom was in the science.
So I feel. So this is what
moreover in the science.
So this is what my feeling was. That I had seen that transaction happen in homes, but I had seen them happen when that is all the woman had to do. Was to play the role of a nurturer and a wife and a mother, and that's it. But now she had to do double roles. I felt like she had to prove that she could do it all. Yeah. And that was what I constantly saw. And I saw that my father was not doing anything about like it's like she was constantly.
She was working well for him. He was being.
He was just being existing. He was doing his role as a man.
Yes.
My mother was doing her role as a woman in the home. Of course, at that time, gender roles were really defined. Yeah. But she was also doing that extra
the progressive
role,
side.
The progressive side, and trying to achieve everything and accomplish everything
while also meeting.
Ability. It was too much for me. It just looked disgusting. It just looked terrible to me. And then it started. When I started to like interact with people from different tribes, this is why I brought in tribe, I started to realize that other homes seemed a little bit more fluid than what was going on in my home. Let me tell you something. My mom literally used to dumb herself down for her husband. Yeah. I could speak monetary policy with my mother here for an hour.
But as soon as
her husband enters,
my role as doting wife.
On news and they say the governor has announced they've raised the central bank rate to 10%. Yeah. Then my mom can look at him and say, what does 10% now? You're the economist. What does it mean?
Yeah, yet you know she
waiting for my father to have a chance. Now you see my father, his
his ego.
His ego would be, he would talk. And
Meanwhile,
my mother is like this.
That is inaccurate.
I was like, what is this dynamic?
Yeah, what is going on here?
What's happening? And I felt like my mother carried a burden of the relationship and the marriage on her shoulders.
Have you talked to her now?
Yes,
did she carry it, or did you think
she I felt a little bit of it was going on, but it had to happen.
Okay.
It had to happen because remember there was a time when men had to allow you to be who you wanted to be.
Yeah. Okay.
She lived in that time.
Okay.
So it was a dynamic that my dad did not know how to.
It was a world she knew.
Okay.
and my mom wanted to do what she wanted to do. So in her mind, it was
it was a route. It was a means to an end. Yeah,
she had to do it. They didn't know any better.
Yeah. She's already an outlier. So how do I? Yeah.
So So when I started dating, I swore in my life.
Yeah.
Catch me, date a Ugandan man.
Wait, have you not dated
It was intentional.
Yeah.
I never dated a Ugandan man until the person I'm dating now.
Yeah.
Okay. Intentionally. I said, I cannot. I hear what? Said you here.
Yeah.
I'm a joke ago. The mokasa here.
You're like,
sorry. Me, you want to go over for you talk for hours. That's how my father used to talk.
Yeah.
People are blowing. People in the sigiri.
Yeah.
So that the talk can be here.
If your father in the matoke at my home, he would.
I really want him.
So he can actually. Please know that the sigiri was a downgrade.
Yeah.
He wanted it firewood.
Wow.
Yeah.
The real
mother
core.
just had a conversation and
like,
said, I'm sorry, help me.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Let's release it. Because my dad is also a neat freak.
Yeah.
And that whole fire.
Yeah, like it's going to.
It's dirty.
Yeah.
So that one was an easy conversation to have. So me, I just said, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I learned later that my dad was actually, so I learned that I actually wanted to date my dad, but not my dad.
Yeah.
What do you click? I wanted his positive. His positive was
everything
I wanted in a man.
A protector,
like a man who was a man, who could be a man for me.
Yeah.
The emperor, the conqueror, the lion.
He's where?
He's here. Yeah.
Called
it Joko. So I learned that in
Joko the emperor.
I wanted Joko the emperor. So
Not Kanakulia.
I was dating away from the negative instead of dating towards the positive.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So I
that
learned
again,
how
it
to
was
flip
deep.
that script.
Okay.
So because I was so afraid of landing into the trap I found my mom, I was so afraid of it. I ran away from everything that was a representative of my father because I was like, I'm going to go. I don't want to be who my mother is. I don't want to be that wife. I don't want to be that. I don't want it.
Yeah.
It's not my burden to carry. So I ran away from my dad. Instead of identifying the good because
you ran to.
the people I ran to, dear.
Okay.
The people I ran to, they were not. So it's like I learned it was a balance, and I usually run to people from Western Uganda, who are from Western Uganda. They are great men, great men. And me, I've been privileged. I've never dated a bad man.
Yeah.
But then our traits clashed. Our personalities just clashed because I wanted the things that I grew up with. My reference is my home. Most of us, our reference in a relationship is what we grew up with.
How we learn what love is.
So I try me that positive. It's what I want. So now I just learned to, look at the positive.
Yeah.
Get that positive, and then now try to find out. Do they have the negatives you don't want?
Okay.
Instead of running away from negatives, then you start finding the positives in the one who doesn't have the negatives. So now I just flip that script. I just decided, let me look for the positives. Then I start to sing. Do you need me to wake up in the morning early to prepare you breakfast of katogo?
What about pork?
Pork at 6 a.m.
Pork, or make some pork in the, So
some people are good wives.
Demands. Me, I don't want demands.
And yet without the demands, you will do the things.
Who?
You.
Who would? Without
without the demands.
You'll do the thing.
I
just have that thing that people have it over. You give them a finger, they want the whole arm.
Yeah.
So I want someone who's just there.
So
that I give you the finger and you look at it like it's an arm.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
what is this?
Yeah, what is this?
Joe.
That's still sure when you want the finger. They take the whole arm.
That's human nature. You give them a finger, they come for your arm. They can't.
So you're like, let's be kawa.
They don't get satisfied. They want more. You give them, they want more.
Pumla, he understood the point. It just took him somewhere.
I'm just childish.
P5. I
am in the P5. There's a comment of an erect building.
Yeah.
Remarks.
We're going to keep a counter for like stupid things that I mentioned.
13-year-old boy,
How is it
dating
before
then?
and then after?
Yeah. The people and the way.
Similar to you, the people I dated before, they were my friends, and then like
it evolved into a relationship.
But I've only dated about 6 people.
Only.
Because you're how old?
The first 3.
Okay, how long
I am
has your
turning
dating life
40 next
been?
year. I started dating when I was in S4.
Oh wow.
Yeah, S4 VAC. And interestingly, the first 2 people I dated
between
the ones
16 and 40.
Yeah, but what I mean is they've been like, hey, we're in a thing. But I'm talking about, hey, we're serious about this thing. We're together and yes. So.
And the ones of Weain, I think they've been how many?
I can't
22.
count. No, let me tell you something. It's cruel. Don't count your blessings.
Name them one by one.
I love
I just thank you for the honor of having your time.
I love that. Okay.
So, interestingly, the first 2 people I dated are the ones who asked me out.
This was him when they asked him out.
Okay,
Then,
I degraded.
Now. But the one of now, no one is asking anything.
Excuse me, people ask. I just said no. No thanks.
Life is not fair.
I'm fine. I know. We're struggling. Anyway,
As you turn
things
40.
are rough, man. It's rough out here. Imagine being 40 and single. Anyway, I think similar to her, I really didn't. So when I was 16, my parents broke up. Like their relationship split. Okay. So it was just the time when I was thinking I was going to get into things, but when I got home, these things are breaking down. At some point, I was like, love things are lies.
Yeah.
So when she asked me out, I was very surprised. And she gave me my first kiss, and I was like, Banang, I am desired. But I found that I'm very uncomfortable being the object of desire. I think that's when I found that I'm quite traditional in terms of, at the time, I wanted to be the one to pursue. So I've now learned that I am very patriarchal. I have things within me that I didn't realize were that strong. Like, for example, when on Twitter there was this period when they were showing abusers. Then I thought, if one of my friends was shown as an abuser, my natural reaction would be like, I know Pumla, for instance. If they told me Pumla slapped an old woman, I'd be like, Vanang, it's impossible. Because I know her. But at the same time, when I looked at the information, it's very rare that a woman is going to make an accusation like that frivolously, because they really get their stuff exposed. Like you talk about their intimate, no woman really wants to go through that. So to combine those 2 pieces of knowledge is very difficult for me, because I know you and I love you as a brother, but then there's this thing, but then I know I need to be able to check it out. So similarly, I was, I think, a little bit more traditional. When they asked me out, I was a bit, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to. So then I had to pretend like, let me be the one to ask you out now. And I remember they told me like, why are you so... And interestingly, just now, as I'm talking about this, no, I didn't say yes. Because I felt like a man is the one supposed to ask. And now when I think back to it, they were sort of saying like, as in, like, why are you having to go through this whole thing? I like you and I've told you, why don't we go through this? So I now...
Is I like you be my boyfriend, or is
that's
it
what they meant,
what
yeah.
is
in those days?
Or is it, because you know these days people ask, what are we now?
Oh Lord.
Is what are we now asking a person out?
No.
That's clarity.
What are we?
Is presenting you with an opportunity.
A man saying what are we?
No, women. If the woman asks what are we,
women always ask, because men usually are the ones in the position to
and
ask.
he's either
You're giving him
the opportunity. Yeah. So
declare what you want.
So my question is that what they asked, for you to see it as you're being asked out, or did they ask?
Basically, they were saying I was slow. They were hanging out with me. They were trying to give me the opportunity to do something. I was at the time interested in my own things. Like I was not interested in relationships. And I wasn't, I used to think that people who date at the time, it was a stupid feeling. Like, you have to be a woman. You know those guys who are like, how can I say it? I had a best friend called Peter, and he was like a woman's guy.
Peter who?
He was the kind who like girls would be like, oh, it's so funny. Well, not like women were very comfortable around him. And for me, when I was around girls, I'd be like, but
that was usual as well.
But eventually I noticed it's other people telling me like, but girls are comfortable around me. But for me, I was just like, everyone is the same. I didn't want to see myself in that image. So at the time I used to deny that side of myself. And now I'm a little bit more forward. If I see something I like, I'll say, hey, these are my intentions. I find that it cuts a lot of back and forth. Because presently, I don't know how it is for people who are dating.
I get it.
That thing that you've asked, a lot of people just end up we're in a situation. We're in a thing. They want the sort of vagueness of it, because then you can have plausible deniability. Who said we were dating? So it's almost like you become cringe when you say, I love this person. Like there's a group of guys I have on a group. One guy came on and said, I like this girl, I'm going to ask her out, and I laugh at people like, well, this weak guy, you could just be enjoying and then first test drive. Like that's the mentality. Anything but love. So, but now I'm in the opposite phase. I'm really a person who I have to examine my feelings for you. And similar to her, I go on values. At a certain point, I think I had ruined myself because I was trying to procure a partner. I had a list. I had a list.
What does that mean?
It was like, she must be this. Like I was putting it this way, but the times I've fallen in love, I didn't choose. I didn't choose. I just fall. And for me, love is a violent act for me. Everything changes. Like you now become my priority. It feels, I'm anxious. I feel like it's very upsetting. But then I know I have to be with you. And then she was and I'm like, why are you ruining it? Let me come to fruition.
After what?
I'm going through an existential thing. So I think why I'm kind of, I'm comfortable being single because I know what it feels like to be in love, and I don't want to just settle for something that's practical. Because there have been many practical people who, we vibe, everything is okay, it could work. But I want the fall. I don't want love without the fall. I think people want love practically and be safe. Like people who want chocolate without the fats.
Especially at your age.
But it's okay. My father got married when he was 36. At that time, he must have been at a senior age. And when I spoke to him about it, he has never pressured me. He just said that, look, he recognizes I'm similar to him, and he knows that you probably need to first find where your life is going, and then you get the partner to go on that journey with. So like if I was to date you, I'd have to tell you this is what I value, this is where I'm going. Are we moving in the same direction? There are people that I've loved and I still love, but we're going in different directions. So us breaking up was a success. I wouldn't look at it as a failure of that relationship. It's that we're not moving in the same direction.
So when I'm going to date someone or whatever, I have to tell them what my values are. I find vulnerability in women when it comes to dating, that they try to become, to adjust themselves to suit the preference of the man.
That's true.
And that's why I'm always and that's why women end up resenting men when they enter the marriage.
The quiet resentment.
It's quiet, that quiet resentment. It's usually because, and that's why when women, when something happens in a relationship and a man maybe is like, I'm either leaving you, or they've had an affair, or they've what? Then the woman says, after all I've done for you.
For you, yes.
I
Because
could have done better. I could have.
After all I've done for you usually is giving. That is not what I wanted, but you told me that that is what
I did it for you.
So I have done it for you. So I always find that there's a...
It's a tricky thing.
Yeah. So why isn't it like, why can't you just observe?
So the way
instead of telling them. Because us, we will just stand into it.
Be like, okay.
We will move.
You want us to go to where?
We want us to wear panties. We want to wear the panties. You want me to
I don't think that's the discussion. I don't think the discussion is wearing the panties.
Okay, what is it usually?
It is
one of my core values
is whether or not.
Oh, do you wear panties? No. So you're right, because I ended up in it's a bit personal.
Go on.
There was someone I was dating for a long time.
Like, that's
and then
right?
it's really I found out at a certain point she was adjusting herself to fit into my life, and I felt really bad about it, because it ultimately came to the point that she was like, I want you to love me and feel like I'm that person and you're the reason for being. And so she was adjusting herself. But like you said, at certain points she'd be like, after I did this for you, I'd be like, I thought you wanted to do this. So even from my side, I was like, I didn't know, it kind of tainted the experiences we had, because I was like, so were you genuinely enjoying, or you were just trying to get there? So now I will probably bring it in a roundabout way.
Okay.
Like I'll be doing some stuff and say, I'm reading this book, and they'll say, are you interested? She's not interested. Because if I bring it as this is a prerequisite, it becomes an exam. But I've had to learn that because that experience was tough. It was really difficult.
What about nyash? Do you like nyash?
I like all body types.
With or
without? Are you saying that for me?
No.
Are you saying that for me?
I like all. You have nyash.
I don't have.
I haven't seen it. It's there. No, it's just that you're.
She's an athlete, and then she tells you she's swimming.
She's a swimmer.
Like, I don't know what she's a swimmer.
Like a fish.
Anyway,
she's svelte.
So imagine, I thought about the answer to this question. You know, Auntie, I dated.
You're the married one.
Yeah, I'm the married one.
So you're going to tell us about your dating?
I'm going to tell us about the
ones before.
No, both.
Okay.
So I thought about it this morning.
I know them.
And I was thinking,
don't lie.
We said dating early. We said, okay, we dated late, but we said being in love early.
You said that age.
19.
How old was it?
19. We're
the same age.
We're the same age. So 19. We're age mates.
Oh, he was just in a different class.
No, same class. He was born in March. You think about another person?
Yeah, this one. Why you about
No, you think about another one, but this one, my husband.
The current. The current.
No, I dated someone in S when I was in S5, and he was in S4. He was a class.
She visited him
on
visitation.
You visited him on visitation.
You guys
what you cooked food, baby.
No, I think it was holiday or something. No. Why did I visit him on BD?
Girl.
I told you Primah was progressive.
What a success guy.
Can you do a graphic of a success card? My love, I hope you pass these exams.
And he watches people to leave me alone.
Your experiences are unmatched. I've never had this before.
I know, right? So I was in S5, but now we said liking each other at 19.
Okay.
S6 back first year, right? So
let me eat kanye.
I know, and like I said, we got married at 29, so we had a proper 10 years. So in my head, I was like, when we were dating, 10 years, what did I consider? Like you guys say, by the way, for me, the most important thing was value systems.
Yeah.
Value systems. Even then, it was value systems. And you know what I didn't have the language for it then.
Yeah.
Those days, I used to call it, he must be a believer. I'm like, he must be saved. But when I'm saying he must be saved, I'm just saying we must have the same value system.
Yeah.
Because if you're not saved,
I hear that. Yeah.
And then we get into an issue. Then I pull out tongues.
And equally yoked.
Then I'm like, Then I'm like, I pull out tongues and now yeah. Like you wake up in the night and I'm walking around the house. You're like, and it really works.
Friends, we've been drinking, so if you see the energy today, it's different.
Reminded me of what?
Hi, Alan.
Christian spelling bee.
What's Christian spelling?
Like spell Rama Shakadama.
Shaka in a glory.
Anyway, so in my head, I said he must be a believer, but by saying he must be a believer, I meant we must have the same value system. But at that time, remember, I was 19. So all I was thinking about was, because that's my primary value system. That's the primary thing, right? Because it defines a lot of other things. But I think about if I was to date now, at this age,
tell us.
I would think about that and more. And by the way, then at that time, I considered these other things, but at that time, the truth is that I married potential. All of us, I married potential. Like, no, like by that time it was already, but I dated.
Oh,
when you marry your age mate, you must be marrying potential.
Yes, because all of us
I can never date my age mate.
Yes,
you want to get a finished product.
Not finished. You don't have to be finished, but you must be better than
somewhere different.
You must be. You must have your journey must be.
Yeah,
wait,
so now
you must be overlapping me.
Have you surpassed someone in a relationship and be like, Bananga, I've paced you.
I have grown. I have never. Never. Has never happened.
Congratulations, you man.
I dated potential. Like at that time, I'm like, where are you going? We are both Kawa. We'll get there. I see your things are working. Even my things are working. We'll get there. It will. But now I think about it. If I was to date now, value system, of course, faith will always be important. But I don't think I would date potential now. Because of I would not date. Like
what do you mean by potential?
Define potential,
Potential,
what does potential look like to you?
By potential, I could see the direction that he wanted his life to go. Right now, I must see the direction that your life is going. You must be in the
can I see the signs that you're getting?
Yeah, at that time, can I see the signs? That's what I mean. Like you're actually active.
It's not just a dream.
At that point, we are wishing. You're like, Bambi, I'm an engineer. I want to work here. I want to do this.
And we're mature. No one asked me about my dreams.
Age, you get at this age.
But that means that you would have been dating over 30.
Older.
Yes.
Older.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying at this age. Okay,
so if you were in this scenario,
if I was in this scenario at this age, I would. You understand? Like, so at that time I dated, like Bambi, I dated value system, potential, what. But value system would never change for me because let me tell you when I get, that's what I can't. I can't. Even though you're hot out, even though you're what out, even though you what.
Because they know it's a core.
They
want Christian girls. So they go and pretend they've been with us in the disco the night before. Then they
wake up. They are
hangover. They're like, when I get Primah was there in the Holy Ghost. Not to show her that I am a believer because it is her value system.
Yes, you understand, which is so bad. Which is so bad because you end up on the thing doesn't work.
And then when you get married, that's it. Then you say, why aren't you the leader of our prayer?
Thank you.
In the
He
home?
can never.
You just invite Jesus. He will help everything.
Anyway, guys. So changing, shifting. Attachment style. You guys know your attachment style?
I'm clingy.
Do you know your attachment styles?
Yeah.
What's your attachment style?
We are the same. Say it.
No, but you know the theory of attachment styles.
Why don't you explain? Why don't you explain?
Okay, so
first?
theory of
Okay.
Theory of attachment styles comes from, it's a theory,
Shall
right? So it's like a
words.
psychological theory, right?
Yeah.
About how people relate, right? Or the style of attachment, really. You give me other words that you form as a child.
Based on
right?
your experiences as a child.
Based on your experience as a child. And imagine they say that by age 2, you've already formed your
It's
attachment
unconscious.
style. And it comes from your caregiver, how you attach with your caregiver.
Yeah.
So some children exert their needs, right?
Yeah.
So those are the anxious types. So they must throw a tantrum in order to get, they think they must throw a tantrum in order to get attention. So that, and most likely it may be that caregiver is not giving you attention, they're not, you know.
You have
so
to
now
ask.
the way you cope is by throwing a tantrum, and there are many adults that we are seeing that are throwing, but that's
We see
anxious.
They're
right?
here.
Yeah.
You're throwing a tantrum.
No, they're here. They're here.
Avoidance on the other side, it's the same thing. So in general, there's secure and insecure.
Yeah.
Insecure has 3, secure is just secure.
Yeah.
So under insecure, there's the
Babo are
anxious,
secure.
there is the avoidant, and avoidant is like, okay, if you're not going to give me attention, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
that's
will
even how
sort
they are.
myself.
Like, they're like, I'm
Yeah.
good, I'll sort myself. Like, you do you, I'll do me. And it's cool. And then now there is the other one, the anxious avoidant.
Avoidant.
It's like, I want, but I don't want.
in
They,
between.
Do you like me, but how I don't care?
Yeah, they start by wanting. Then when you
I just want to know.
Then they
yeah, like I
put
don't
aside,
want.
yeah.
Yeah, like I don't want.
Yeah.
Then there is the secure, which is like, okay, I'll give you
Yeah.
if you give. Like I'll respond to what you, or I'll give you, and then I expect to do.
Yeah.
And so that's how it ends up in life. You end up
Yeah.
attaching that way. So, what's your attachment style, and how has even
attachment
knowing
style.
attachment styles helped you in your relationship?
Okay. Let's start from
What is that
Genesis.
one?
First of
beginning.
all, yeah, this theory was hypothesized by a psychologist called John Bowlby.
Say it.
Initially.
That's right.
And as Primah has said, it all it references to is that the way you relate with people now is largely influenced by the bond that you had with your caregiver initially. So I am innately dismissive avoidant.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
She can
And
go
so
dismissive.
Primah has said how the different attachment person styles manifest, but I want to go back to where it starts from.
Yeah.
So there's one secure. So the secure attacher was usually raised in a home where they had all their needs met.
Yeah.
Both the basic and the emotional,
Yeah.
the mental, fully. Their parenting approach was like what they call an approach parenting. If whether you're okay or not okay, your parent is there.
Is there.
Questioning, asking, are you okay? Are you fine? If you cry, it's not that you dare cry another time. I'll show you. It is.
Can you
what
stop
is
your
wrong?
noise?
Yeah. What is wrong? And yeah, how can, okay, I'm sorry, let us see how we can make this better. So secure attachers usually were raised in that kind of environment where their needs were met, and so they are able to express themselves honestly, openly, and they're also okay with vulnerability. They are the ones usually in healthy relationships. Then the other 3 are the insecure.
Yeah.
And please note, by the way,
Most
the
of the
secure
world.
is 50. No, but no at all.
It's 60%.
It is 50-50.
It's 50-50. What do you mean?
Actually 50-50.
Oh, wow.
Secure
The one I think
attachers
it was
and insecure
60-40.
attachers.
Those ones
is
are lying.
50-50. No, it is actually 50-50.
No, the
and
secure
it's
guys are
tending
lying.
to 50. So it started with 60, but when things like therapy and
Okay.
more and intervention entered, that a 10% moved.
Okay.
So it became 50-50 now. But yeah, originally that's 60-40 if you just leave it without intervention.
Okay.
But because of intervention, it became balanced.
Okay.
Then the 3 insecure attachment styles.
So there are
We
more
have-
secure people than the
No, there are
insecure.
50 insecure.
Okay,
and
so it's
50
Are you
Secure.
saying secure
So the
relationships or
50%
secure attachments?
Secure attachments.
Secure attachers. There are
need to read
50%
that.
of the world are secure attachers.
Yes.
50% of the world are insecure
Insecure.
attachers. And the insecure attachers, there
They
are
do
3.
that survey.
Yeah, so now those are
No, but, yeah.
you know, the statistics we need to look at what is there. So yeah, the first one, let's talk about anxious. Anxious preoccupied. Anxious preoccupied also received love, but they received it inconsistently as they were growing
You
up.
do know what would trigger that kind of attention?
Yes. So think about working parents.
Yeah.
When the parents are there, they are there.
Yeah.
But they need to go to work, they leave.
There's something else that's important.
There's something else that they prioritize at a certain point T. So yes, you're receiving love sufficiently, but it's inconsistent.
Yeah.
Think about the parent who leaves their home to go outside countries. to work or to study.
Love of the other side.
When they are not there, they are not there.
Yeah.
When they are there, they are there.
And imagine children
as a child, you
cannot
don't understand.
No, they can't.
They can't interpret.
So anxious, preoccupied, their attachment style is hinged on a fear of abandonment.
Completely.
For them, it's abandonment. For them, they always know that they are going to be here and they are going to love me, but I don't know anytime now.
They are going.
They are going.
Yeah.
So they manifest as adults as clingy. You need to constantly reassure
clingy,
them.
as
Clingy.
Ugandan say.
So you constantly.
Apparently,
they are the ones
she's
where you're
clingy.
out with your boys or your girlfriends. You come back to your phone and you find
17 missed calls.
100 missed
Yeah,
calls.
yeah.
And you're like, this woman, what is wrong with her?
Yeah.
This man, he's
Yeah.
in my face, he's
Yeah.
in my business.
Yeah.
So that's how they manifest.
Why are you
Then you
squeezing
have
me?
Yeah, leave me. They are like,
Yeah.
"Pana, and yeah. So then we have dismissive avoidant. Dismissive avoidant is the type where they also do receive love, see him smile,
Yeah.
but their needs are met, but not the needs they deem important to them.
Say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for them, the parents will come and say, I met your needs because I provided
fed
I
you,
fed you,
Yeah.
I clothed you, I
Yeah.
housed you,
Yeah.
I gave you education,
What more do you
I
want?
gave you security.
Well,
Dismissive avoidance have other needs. Now for them, it's an emotional issue. And you will find many African men, especially, because boys were raised to be a certain kind of way. So you'll find that for them, their parents are like, be that way. There was no emotional, and yet men are human beings too. They're emotional beings.
Yeah.
They're emotional.
But you tell them they're
must
emotional,
need
they don't
men.
want
They
to.
don't want it because they've been
conditioned.
We get emotional when you mention.
That's it.
Yeah,
Because that's their reference.
Yeah,
Their reference
yeah.
is what their caregivers told them.
Alan, how are
That
you
you're not emotional beings.
Yeah.
Joel
So
is
it
laughing, he's
manifests.
giggling.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, let him.
I'm drunk.
So for them, there's a neglect. So for them, they look at it like, yeah, and it comes from things as even simple as, me, I just want to go out and hang out with my friends to watch a movie. And they're like, Mom, I paid your school fees.
Yeah.
You think I have money that is
Yeah.
going to take you?
Yeah.
That usually creates an avoidant. So they create an independence and they distance themselves because
I
they
want to
feel like
rely
you
on you for this.
Your caregiver
I want a PS5.
influences how you feel. Your biggest heart comes from the person who
From
raised
your
you.
primary caregiver.
From your primary
Like you
caregiver.
want a PS5?
So I want a PS5. They refuse you. Not PS5. That's your need that you really, really want.
Do you want to give us a background?
My father asked me for a PS. My son asked me for a PS5 and I refused. Now these ones are here laughing.
How you're going to
Well,
make
not
him,
join us,
you're going to
John.
make him
We shall
dismissive
raise you as
avoidance.
an avoidance person.
But he has a PS4, which is enough in my
What might
Average.
they have?
at my viewpoint. Yeah, so that's a dismissive avoider. So they keep themselves at a distance so that they don't get hurt.
Okay.
That's what happens. That's
Protect
where it stems
themselves.
from. Then we have the last one. It used to be called disorganized. But they
What a harsh
made
term.
it, it was harsh because
Yeah,
they're the
'cause it
most
has the most-
problematic.
yeah.
Because exactly how
toughest to
Primah
relate
said,
with.
Yeah.
they oscillate between the anxious, preoccupied,
And
the
dismissive.
dismissive avoidant. They want love, but they also don't want it.
Yeah.
They want to be with you
When
and
it
cling
comes,
and
they're like,
but
And as soon as when you
to
bring
them,
it,
they withdraw.
See ya.
Now those
that sounds
ones
like most of the world
usually
too.
are hinged
No,
on.
that's avoidant. The one that you're thinking is avoidant. They're the
Which
ones
one?
where avoid. No, because he's saying most of the world is you bring it, then I run away. No, that's a very
That's
small.
avoidant.
That's
usually.
avoidant.
Can't
Yeah.
bear the love.
Yeah. So theirs is hinged on mistrust. They are raised by hot or cold parents. Think bipolar.
Yeah.
Think
Yes.
parents who are going through bad marriages,
Drugs and,
relationships,
yeah, addiction.
substance abuse as
Substance
well,
abuse.
poverty.
Yeah.
It's
the whole of Africa,
No. That type of poverty,
which is
which
crippling.
makes
Pananga, Sub-Saharan
that's
Africa.
crippling. And by the way, it's a large part of Africa.
Yeah.
People
It
just
has
don't
to be the
understand it.
circumstances, yeah.
The type of poverty where
It
you
forces
are not
you to
even
live a certain
allowed.
way.
Yeah, you're forced to live a certain
Yeah.
way. You have
Yeah.
to contribute as a
Yeah.
child.
You don't have
to the
abundance.
Yeah.
You become a
So when
worker.
you become a worker,
Yeah.
you're no longer a child, and your parent treats you that way.
Yeah.
But when it's time for being a child and being loved, the parent is there. So now what? When it's time now, you didn't sell the
Who am I
avocados.
for you?
You didn't sell the
Yeah.
viñedo.
Yeah.
Those people, those children on the streets, when they
Yeah.
go back home, they
Yeah.
are accountable
They are going
to their
to be-
parents.
yeah.
Now they can even be beaten. That creates, they are called fearful avoidance.
Yes.
That it's a mistrust
Yeah.
of.
I don't know what version of you I'm going to
I don't know what
get.
I'm getting at any point.
Oh, yeah.
If you have an alcoholic parent, if you have a parent who is what are called bipolar, if you have a parent who is moody, if you have a parent who's going through a bad relationship or a bad marriage or a bad time at work, who does not know how to navigate their
How to
emotions.
It's an
parent
environment.
while going through.
So those are what they call, now they refer to them as fearful avoidance. I pounced on this theory from a podcast.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was over 25,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, but I'm not
I
sure.
loved them.
But I think it was over 25. But I'm not. Yeah, over 25. It was a Kenyan podcast, but they're not there anymore. Yeah, yeah, we love them so much. Well, me, I really love them.
I love them.
Hey, they're no longer
So I
doing
think it's
it.
when I first heard.
Are they
of it.
avoidant? Anyway, continue.
They were a group of Kenyan girls. They were really, really
Yeah.
fantastic. So I think I first heard of it from there. And of course, as now I dismissive avoidance, and mine really came from the fact that my mother set her bar up. Her bar for us was so high. Typical African parent, she had only 2 measures of goodness. You had to
Academics and
be
housework.
disciplined, or you are performing academically.
Yeah.
And her bars were not.
Those are the terms for which I will
Her bar
accept you.
Was super high.
exceeding expectations.
Yeah.
I say your home has a
Exceeding.
brains.
And remember, we are 5 in our house. There are 3 who exceed expectations.
Yeah.
And we are 2 who are
Normal.
normal
Yeah.
kids.
In
Just
other homes, you would be
normal.
there.
And yet to the rest of
Yeah.
us, you
Yeah.
are normal
Like,
ones.
hey.
Boom, like,
Yeah.
you're average. I'm like, yeah, in my home, I'm average. I'm an average girl. Because my other 3, and I always felt like they I don't even know how to say it. Like my mom she wouldn't even really acknowledge, like my other siblings were top 5. Always top 5. And these are not in that school you went to in I think in kindergarten, not in those schools.
In Bukato.
In that school of Bukato, not in the
He's going to drive with no music later, so they should make fun of my school.
They were top 5 in top schools where they were.
Why you went to Harvard?
They
Wow.
were cream. They are cream of the cream.
Yeah.
In the best schools.
In the best schools. Now me, I would come back with my report. Me, I was always average. Always in that car. In a class of 40, I was always between, on average, 15th to 20th.
Okay.
That was my. I was proper
Middle.
average child.
Yeah.
But I never went
Hard
under
worker.
21. No.
Yeah.
The only one time I went under 21, I was thinking I was the 24th day out of. No, that's not true.
That's the time your friend
I was
told you
the
they loved you.
12th last. What is 12th last?
Uh-huh,
That's the time
in a
I
class of
feared
what?
myself.
The last
I
percent
myself
I
out.
got.
You, I was the 150th.
I was the
Yeah.
you were 40.
Yeah.
You were 40. Yes. Oh, and you know, mathematics, it always fails me. That is 28th. 28th, yeah.
30,
Out of 40.
I
Yeah.
was a 28th out of 40. I had never seen that. I was like, what is this? That's
The other side of the middle.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's the only time I really went down. But because my parents were really
Super,
top,
yeah.
so she always expected so much of us. And even if you achieved, because I would see my other siblings, my sister would come from 2nd to 3rd. They are
And it's a
asking
problem.
her
Pressure.
to sit down for 1 hour
Yeah.
and explain
Why?
where the 2
Why
marks
are
in
you
mathematics,
failing?
where they
Yeah.
went.
Yeah.
So me, I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't please you.
That pressure is
anyway.
too much.
Yeah.
I am not going to run after that pressure. It's okay. So of course, when I was a child, that hurt me. Like, you're not saying that I'm a different person. You're not saying that I have different
Pumla,
interests.
did they also have a conversation with you? Or were they
What was it
okay?
like?
When?
No, in terms of
you were
12th
okay.
class.
Brought my
When you were the 12th class.
They would have it was a different
As
conversation.
expected.
What kind of conversation?
The conversation. Okay, the one for the 28th was a different one.
But this
That
one
is
of the
it was
15th.
really a problem. But that was a 15th. Because I was volatile.
Yeah.
So usually I would be 15. Then sometimes I would go to 13.
Yeah.
They would throw me a bag.
Hey, what did you- They were good, no, what
This
did
was
you-
my father. So you see, I grew up, my attachment style comes from a mother wound.
Okay, so say.
Not a father.
Okay, so
And
explain.
why for me, I'm more
John, it's
balanced.
okay, please. We are all listening.
No, I have to give gas.
Your gas is too
So
much.
I find that I'm more balanced is that my father acknowledged that
Okay.
other side of me. But the most painful wound in anybody's life
Okay,
is
it's
a
the mother
mother
wound. Okay.
The father wounds exist,
Yeah.
Primah,
but the
can you click?
mother wound is so close because it is a wound that you actually have a wound from your mother.
That's the
The
first person you
navel
knew.
is a first wound. It's from your
Pumla, become
mother.
a
You had
pastor.
her voice.
Become a pastor because it
Let me
has.
tell you, she's a Muslim. I don't know why you think
You
she's
lived
not.
within your mother.
Okay,
You are
so-
literally separated from
Okay.
her.
Before you had language, you
So
knew her.
psychologically, that is your first, like that is
Your
My
real
provider,
caregiver.
this
The
is what life
primary
is.
parent pleasers. Parent pleasers usually are mother pleasers.
Okay.
People
They're
cry
trying
for
to
their mothers
please
when they are dying.
their
parents,
mothers.
but they are pleasing their
Okay.
mother.
So me,
It
I'm
was
following
one of
the story.
those.
So your mom's bar was super high.
It was just so high.
Uh-huh.
So, and she did not acknowledge that I had other great qualities. I'm a sports girl.
Besides
My
the
father used
academic
to take me
thing.
to swim every day
Yeah,
after
yeah,
school
sports girl. That's
to
why
train.
Joel was asking the other question, and you were like, you can't answer.
It's all right.
I have nothing to say about it. She's a sports girl. That's why. That's why she can't.
No,
But even me, I'm trying to be a
aerodynamic.
sports girl, but I have.
Yeah, so
You are not allowed.
my dad acknowledged and recognized my extracurricular activities.
Okay.
And ticked me for them. Like, he validated them and ticked me, and he was like, so that's why I find for me there's that balance.
Okay.
Because even though I just decided, Mom, every time I try to reach you, you find a way to push me aside, to make it seem
So-
like
so
to
because she would
tell me
push
You have to
that I
qualify
have
for
not
it.
achieved what I should
Oh,
achieve.
so that made you
have to
learn
be
how to
super-
self-soothe. You're like, I
learned how
don't
to
care.
self-soothe.
You're like, I'm good.
So I had to learn how to self-soothe as
Okay.
a child,
Okay.
to separate myself.
Yeah, from that.
Yeah, and not to have any expectations from people, because my mom just expected too much. So I was like, okay, fine. So even people, I just keep people at a distance.
Okay.
So that found me in a place where
makes a lot of sense.
I was just in relationships, but yeah, I don't attach.
Okay.
I just wouldn't attach, and I found myself in what they call the anxious avoidant trap.
Yeah.
I attracted
Anxious
guys.
guys.
Yeah.
It is the worst relationship you can
Ever.
have in
Yeah.
your
And avoidance, no.
But it's
Avoidance,
full of
avoidance,
so
know that
much
you're anxious.
drama.
They know the power.
Yes, and
they know the power.
we
I have.
manipulate
Yes.
the relationship.
Yeah.
You're there clingy, and now you see
clingy.
it's a little bit more acceptable, and not acceptable, but it seems a little bit more tolerable when the man is the avoidant and the woman is the
It
anxious.
plays into the
And then people
stereotypes.
end up saying it's
plays
men and
into-
women.
It plays
Yeah.
into the stereotype,
Yeah.
and they're like, men and women are different.
Yeah.
Woman, you learn
Yeah.
your man.
Yeah.
It's
But
not
when
challenged,
the
yeah.
avoidant is the woman.
Yeah.
What's
And
wrong
the
with her?
anxious, preoccupied
Is the man.
It presents a completely
Different dynamic.
They will start saying that, oh my, that woman, oh,
He's
she's
different and
Yeah.
this, that, and guy.
Yeah.
Will you manage? Oh no,
Yeah.
no, will you manage? Oh, so that was like just the. So when I decided, I learned my attachment style. Mostly, I read. There are two main books I read. There's one that's called Polysecure, which is really something. Polysecure is by Jessica Fern, and there's another one that is Attached.
Attached,
which
yeah.
is, I think, the science of attachment or something like that.
You
by
read the whole
Amir
Attached?
Levin.
You read
So
it?
no, I didn't. I listened to an audio book of the Polysecure, and then I read highlights. I don't have time to read full books anymore.
Okay.
I must confess, I don't have that time anymore.
so
So I
much to
read
read.
The highlights of
highlights
Attached.
of
Okay.
of the Attached,
Okay.
and it was really nice. I think
Yeah.
it was Amir Levine and some Rachel Heller or something like that.
Yeah.
Find them.
Yeah.
And
We'll find them. And then I also read another book, again, a summary of, I think it's Daniel Schwartz. You are the.
I've read that book.
Wait. You are the, I want to quote it right. You are the one you've been waiting for.
You're the one you've been waiting
Richard
for.
Schwartz. So that one is a healing book. So that's the book that helped me heal. That one I read fully. That one I did read fully because
You
I
are the
wanted
one
to
you've been
heal.
waiting for.
You are the one you've been waiting for. It's by Richard Schwartz. And then there's also resources that you can get free to, I think it's free to attach. There's that freetoattach.com.
There's that website, yeah.
A website,
Free to attach.
freetoattach.com.
Yeah.
It has so many things
Yes,
about
I
the
receive
attachment
their emails every day and
Oh,
I'm like,
really?
detailed.
Yeah, and then you check. So I wanted to
Chamban.
learn more about myself.
Yeah.
As I grew, I realized that this is not who I want to be to other people. It's a selfish way to relate.
Yeah, it is.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
In relationships.
Yeah.
So I have decided I'm not really working on the dismissive avoidant with people outside romantic relationships. Yeah, but I wanted to be a better person in
Inside
my
your
romantic
relationship.
Yeah. So I decided to do better in my romantic
And
relationship.
what does
Manageable.
doing better look like?
Doing better now looks like when you said it in the previous show, somebody who loves you can hurt you.
Yeah.
For me, as soon as somebody hurt me, I drew up
You
a
would
wall.
run. Yeah.
No, I just start building a wall.
Yeah.
Remember, you don't run.
Yeah,
the first
you don't
time
run
they
away,
hurt
but you
you.
start.
You start building a wall.
Yeah.
You
When they
become
hurt
independent
again,
of them.
You build again.
Yeah.
I run as soon as I don't see you anymore. When the wall is built,
You just
high
realize
enough
we are
that
no
I
longer
don't
together.
See you, I'm moving.
Yeah.
And you know, women, we leave relationships before we leave relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can be there, but I'm
But
not
you already
there.
left.
Yeah.
But I've left.
Yeah.
So now, being better. So I do this test. Alan, can you please? I'm going to send you the link of the test.
Yeah.
To tell your attachment style, and this is a great one because it teaches you where your attachment came from. It teaches you whether it's your mother
Or
it's your father. It also teaches you how you relate with the community. It teaches you how you relate with your friends.
Yeah.
It teaches you how you relate in relationships.
Yeah.
So it's and it teaches you who you're better suited to be with.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with my first secure attacher now.
Okay.
And it was a whole different ball
Ball
game.
game.
Different ball game.
Yeah.
Like this person is just there. Me, I'll be out in the night, good time.
Yeah.
I know my phone. I would first sometimes switch off the phone. Other times I would I would first switch off the phone. Then I send a message. I switch off my data.
Yeah. So that
then I send a message when the data is off.
Yeah.
Then when the next day when my man says, I try to call you, I try to do
the message is here.
It was sent on my side. Anti-WhatsApp, it's one tick.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, I don't know how it didn't reach you. Then I put back on the data, now it reaches him. I'm like, no, it must have been a network glitch.
Yeah.
And because they're anxious, they don't know what to expect. They want to be where you are all the time.
So with your secure attacher.
But now with a secure attacher.
Yeah.
You won't manage.
It doesn't. Oh,
it's like, okay.
Time.
Yeah.
Great. That is what, hey.
Oh, yeah, enjoy.
How was it? Because I was so used to anxious attachers, sometimes maybe when I haven't called because again avoided.
You are preempting.
Yeah.
So I'm going home, then I look at the man, I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't call you. He has not sent, the only message is, oh, I hope you had a wonderful time. Have a great night. We'll speak tomorrow. Boom.
And for you, like,
all
what's
protocol
this?
observed.
Who's
all
this man?
protocol observed.
I'm like, what do you want from me?
Honorable
Do you want to kill me?
What game is this?
I used to go sometimes with the church outside. I'm like, this man may be outside.
What plan are you trying?
For me? Are you trying to, what have you got planned for me? You know, like that guy you cheat on, then they say, it's okay, I forgive you.
We don't know.
Can you stay with him, that man?
I don't know. They're cheating on a man and me, no. I've never cheated on a man.
So now I date secure attachers and I'm moving. I've taken the test again. So I've healed my mother wound. I've had conversations with my mother. Nice. I've intentionally sought out to heal myself because after a certain age, you cannot blame your caregivers about shit that you have.
They're human,
you must be aware of what your shit and try to heal your trauma, because if you don't heal your trauma, it's most likely being projected on somebody else.
And bleed on other people.
What age is that?
Generation.
The age me I say is 35.
I thought you said 25.
No, 25 is when the brain is developing. Okay. So now you have an opportunity to start growing on your own.
Okay.
So usually I would say 30, but I'm deciding to be a little bit lenient. And I mean, it's 30. Anything over 30 now, you're the work, you're the background.
Yeah.
You can't say words like trauma.
Yeah. No, it's there.
Motherhood.
Well, yeah, no, you can reference them because you'll be triggered. You will be triggered.
Yeah.
Healing is a journey. It's a lifetime journey.
Yeah.
So even if now when I take the test now, I can see I'm more secure, but
I'm
triggered at certain times, and I have to remind myself every time, like my partner does something, I feel I withdraw, but I literally have to do the work to bring myself back, to put down the wall and recognize that this man, you chose him, he has your best interests at heart, he loves you.
Yeah, Pumla, when is your wedding? When is your wedding?
Do better.
When is your wedding?
Can we go to Jojo?
What's your attachment style? What's your attachment style?
My love language is
he's there avoiding.
Space.
Why are you avoiding? What is your attachment style?
No, do you see how I'm being trapped?
So Joe, what's your attachment style? And how has it influenced the people you've dated?
Yeah.
I'm going to say something, but you guys might disagree. But
You
maybe you'll agree.
Your opinion.
No. I am, I guess, avoidant. You describe me as avoidant, but when I'm in a relationship, I am all in.
Okay.
Because I actually last year I was talking to two of my exes, just asking what the relationship was like.
Your evaluation goes.
No, I was about to get 40.
It even goes to exes.
Okay,
Two of my
my last breakup, actually the breakup I had, where I
Yeah.
felt like the person was adjusting to fit into my life.
Yeah.
So I went to ask this to other two people, like, did you feel like you had to be a certain way to be with me? And they said that there was a difference when we started dating. Like before, I felt what I'm called.
Yeah.
Which for
And
me
they wanted to
was,
spit
I
you
didn't
out.
want to feel like you have to be my everything. It's so scary for me to depend on one person for everything. I don't know if I'll ever get rid of that. Because the way I grew up, like you were mentioning, my parents were, I knew they loved me because I had all the physical things I needed, but I felt like I had to qualify myself to appreciate their affection. So for my father, I had to perform. For my mother, she was like, be funny, be what, be these things. So
You
when
also
they
had to perform.
when they began
different way.
fighting, I think it came into me in that when I mentioned in the last episode that I feel people's emotions, I always feel like to be loved, there has to be a qualification. Although now I feel like it's
like
a
you
weird
can't just
thing.
be loved for existing.
If someone just says, I just love you for you, I'm like, but why?
Why?
What is the thing? Because I'm always thinking, when that thing goes, what will happen?
Means you don't
now,
love me
the
anymore.
other situation I got in with like one of my best friends is then I ended up dating people for whom I could always be of service to.
Yeah.
Which was a trap, because when they no longer needed that service, I'd be like, well, now they no longer need me. I had to always be useful. So I think I've now outgrown that, because it's not healthy. Because I know that doesn't last. If you're dating someone because
what
they...
attachment style is that where
I don't know, this is what I'm saying. I struggle
like
with
he's
it.
avoidant before, but in the relationship he's...
It takes me a while to get into it, but once I'm in it, you're the only person who will see me when I'm in a relationship. So,
Are
like,
you sure
the
you're
one
not
with
avoidant at the
person,
beginning of the relationship?
I think I am, but the thing is, I know what I'm avoiding. I'm avoiding the traditional setup. I'm not really desirous of the traditional, this is what the man does, this is what the woman does. I feel like we should negotiate these things. There's nothing that annoys me more than, as the guy you should do this. I'm like, what do you mean as the guy I should do this?
We need to
Let's figure this out.
A talk, gender roles.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like those, and it's because I realize now that
you
I
do.
speak
Why
a lot
don't you want
about.
to provide?
I speak
So
a
why
lot-
don't you want
No,
to
listen,
provide?
Because that's the only thing that's the only thing.
By the way, when men say I don't like gender roles,
They mean I don't want to provide.
Yeah. So why don't you want to provide?
Are you saying?
Why don't you
Ladies
want
and
to
gentlemen,
provide?
as a man, when you begin talking, then people say, that's how they, like turkeys. Now, let me say something. It's not that I don't want to provide. What I don't like is, like you said, if someone comes to me and says, it is, you must do it because you're the man, it grades me, because I'm like, I'm doing this for you as my love for you. It's not some duty that has come from above. So in one of my relationships, she was the one who would buy things. She was better with money than I am. And I was very comfortable.
Things using whose money?
Like with my money, I would be like, please give
Also with
this,
our money.
buy things. No, I'm very serious. It was my money. It was me, because I had way more money. But she never treated it as...
What have you had? I had way more money.
I had way more money. At the time, I was doing well. Now,
Even now you're doing
now,
well.
now,
CEO
no, there was a time when I was I'm
CEO
doing some things. So there was someone I was seeing casually, and one
Joe,
time
don't
she
lose
got
your train of thought.
she got home and she found that there was no yaka. She sent me a message like, can you put the yaka on my... And I was like, but you got home, you have the money, why don't you do it? She was like, and she sent a message like, as the guy you're supposed to do this. So I felt like, you're trying to...
It was in whose home?
Her home.
Oh, you were staying there?
No, I wasn't staying there.
Oh.
But I had loaded yaka for her before, because I got there and I loaded it. So like when I did that, she took it as, this is your... It's even these things of, are you going to open the door for me? I'm like, it's a courtesy that I'm extending to you. The minute you make it, you are supposed to do this, it now becomes an artificial, it's like I'm doing this just because I'm a guy. So I feel like I can
sense of
do...
entitlement. That's how men feel.
Yeah, that bothers me. So I'm happy to do things for
how
you.
you feel. Is that how you feel as well?
Yeah, I was going to say that sometimes you do something out of love. Like, I'll drop you home because it's late.
Okay.
Then the next day you leave us somewhere, which is like...
So you've decided not to want to
So when you feel that moment where someone is now entitled to this, you kind of to be like...
Okay.
No. Alan, if I live in Wakiso and you have a car, I'm entitled to a lift.
No, but it's a difference in that we've come to that point where we've had that relationship.
If I was using 3 taxis before, why don't I continue?
Yeah.
Prima, would you say you have to drop me versus could you drop me?
No, I'll sit in the car.
That's different. You may sit in the car and be like,
no one
let's
needs
go.
to say anything.
Now
I sit in the car and I say, let's go home.
Imagine he has to drive across town to come and pick you to take you home.
No, Joel, I have this.
And by the way, so I hear it, and I'm more inclined to thinking like Prima, but I hear it because we also have things of which even us, we're like, I like to do this as my man out of love, then it becomes an expectation.
Exactly, so it should be.
So I'm sure they also have their things which are...
I could never come home. I lived with someone before. I could never come home and be like, why is my food not ready? It's not in my nature. And it's because I realized I was raised by a father who was very insistent upon you have to live in an interdependent home. He used to negotiate everything. He cooked for us when my mom was not around. And he wouldn't ask for praise. He'd be like, this is what you have to do.
Western men of Western culture.
The way she loves my father, Jesus.
Yeah.
No, Joel,
So, for me, I found that I am sort of out of joint when I date people who have this traditional view of this is what the man does, this is what the woman does. It's not that I'm not willing to do those things, but I feel like it shouldn't be presumed that I am now procuring you to be my supplier, to be my protector, to be
So that is when you would avoid.
Yeah, that's when I'd be like, look, I don't want to have this thing because the relationship is premised on the services that I'm going to give to you. What I'm really looking for, the only thing I need, because I'm quite independent, what I'm looking for is someone. Thanks. They have really diagnosed.
Oh, and yes, and by the way, you see, we speak a lot about independence. Independence is great. The difference is with avoidance, they're hyper independent.
Yeah.
So hyper independence is the problem.
Is that you
independence
find
is not a problem.
There's a problem.
Yeah.
There's a problem.
You think you're an island.
So I'm now moving towards interdependence,
yeah.
and for me, it's a much richer experience in that I can now vocalize my needs, and usually my needs surprise people because I just need a little bit of love. I don't need a lot.
Tell us an example.
A lot of affection actually feels like I'm being smothered. So I have to tell the person because I realize when they are trying to love me a lot, I'm like, hey, this thing is weird.
Do you think
it's because I grew up in a home where my parents were both working. So I knew, I just need a little bit of this and I'm okay. And funny enough, my father actually mentioned to me, like, you are always so good at making friends. I'm always so good at filling out my own needs. I know how to find people. Like I found you guys knowing this is going to be a very nice relationship for me. I know how to find the people who are going to fill my heart. And I am also not the kind of person who will need my partner to fill all my needs. I think that's too much.
You're 40, dear. Those thoughts are about 20.
Thank you very much. No one is going to fill all my needs. Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm going to go into my anti-capitalist mode. I feel like the current mode of life has reduced us to being such individuals that now the love that you need someone to be your best friend, the partner, it's such a... I know Esther Correa mentioned it, like it has never been in life that someone would expect one person to meet all those needs. Yeah. So I found that a system where there are people who talk to those things.
Bullshit.
They have abused people. Isn't your wife your best friend?
Mine is...
It's such a heavy burden on anybody.
No, but I have their cup. He doesn't feel.
And I
like
found
he's not feeling this cup. He would be in PPJ. It would be PPJ. But he can't feel PPJ.
You see how you said, for instance, he's not watching it, but he's not scared to say that I don't love you because I'm not watching the thing. It's secure. So like that Nietzsche quote of, it's not lack of love, but lack of friendship.
Joe kills me that when he says quotes and he explains us to say, he's like, like the...
Can you put that Nietzsche quote here? It's not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship. The thing is, you can love someone, like I mentioned, you can hurt someone because your love. When I say I love you, it's both a statement of like, this is my intention, but it's expecting a response from you.
Yeah.
Friendship is a little bit different because for me, in my friendships, you allow it to evolve. Like we allowed our friendship to evolve. There's something about love, like, is this friendship, is this relationship okay? There's a problem. Let's go and talk to this expert. Then let me find, like, there's always something you're trying to fix. Whereas in friendship, you allow their hills and valleys. The best relationships I've ever had is where we go. By the way, right now we're in a funk. Let's allow. Once when you're busy, right? And I trust that my commitment goes beyond my feeling. That's the big difference. I used to go with feeling. When the feeling would go, I'd be like, Manang, there's trouble. But now I can be in a place where I'm like, this person has annoyed me, but I want them to have a meal. I still care about them. So for me, it's more stable.
When are you getting married? But I have someone who sent me a WhatsApp.
At 42. Does she have nice legs?
Wait, she has very nice legs.
Is she funny?
She's beautiful.
Does she laugh well?
Funny. She's amazing.
Those are my things.
So she was like, I've never met somebody like that. Call me, have you met him? I met him on. I meet him once a month.
Hi, friend.
She doesn't even watch.
So Joel, your attachment style is avoidant before, then inside the thing you're okay.
Yeah, because my last breakup, she actually did say that she wasn't ready for how intense it was going to be.
Oh, like inside
because
the
I
thing
told her the things I was dreaming about. I told her about, I want to be able to see if I'm helping your life. And she realized that she hadn't thought about the things she wanted as deeply as I had. Yeah. And when she got to that level, she was like, you know what, I don't think I can manage.
Oh, it was too deep.
Yeah, so it was painful for me, but it was better than us pretending.
Okay.
Yeah. And yours?
Oh, imagine, it surprised me so much that every time I've tested, I'm secure.
I think that makes sense.
I am secure.
That makes
I'm so
sense.
shocked. Yeah, I'm so shocked.
No, it makes a
by
lot
it.
of sense.
Do you know why? No, and do you know why
so
I'm
shocked by
secure
it.
every time? I thought
When did you start checking?
Especially for who you're dating.
maybe 2-3 years ago
Yeah, do you know that your attachment style
is influenced by the
is
relationship
influenced
you're
by
in.
the relationship that you are
Yeah,
in?
yeah.
Secure people can actually become insecure
Yes.
depending on the relationship
Yeah,
that they're
yeah.
in, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's not a fixed mode.
I mean, a stable
because you're in a
thing.
secure.
So yes,
But do you think you've always been?
I think so. No, so anyway, let me tell you. I don't
Okay,
know.
let's-
Let me
let's leave
explain.
you there,
I don't
yeah.
know. Let me explain.
We leave you. We've
Let me
talked
explain.
too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, let me explain.
Let's do this.
Let me explain.
Would you like?
Let me explain. So, do you know also because they say it's based on your family background, and now for me, as in Banag, I had a really stable childhood.
Yeah.
Really stable childhood. Things went to. They went to where?
Haywire.
Haywire. Because I went away.
Hey, oh no.
Things went way here.
Where is it? Okay,
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
understand what you mean. Way here.
Yeah, so things when I was much older. But I imagine, but because I was alert when things went haywire, way here.
It's okay.
Haywire. When things went haywire.
cuckoo.
Yes, because I was aware, I thought that I would be insecure. But I had such a stable childhood. You understand? Like I had a stable childhood, and so every time, and I thought that when they say you should, it depends on how you attach. What I thought it would be for parents who dote over their children. My parents didn't dote over us, but my parents were present.
Yes.
You understand? That's all you need. Like they were
That's
present.
all you need.
We were not Obambu. I thought it was for Bananga, you're doting over. You have cash over. We were proper middle class. Very present, very normal.
If it was about doting, there wouldn't be a single African
Thanks. No, but there is even doting. I have some names of some people where I feel like
Angela in among them.
Bleep that name.
No, but I know people, especially.
No, but I know I kind of grew up with Angela.
Yeah.
Spent weekends together.
No, but
It
even
was
there are
very
some
close to
families.
my
There's some like you know
Mirende.
on video where mother, father, children just look like they are in a movie.
It's picturesque.
As by the way, I was not picturesque, but we were
Yeah.
laughing, we were saying stories. You get what is it? So I had. It surprises me that I had such a stable. I had such a
Because you were yourself
because-
at home. I
yes,
remember you'd be
yes.
yourself. Yeah.
Because
I love that for
imagine
you.
because I had a stable childhood
love that
and without
for
it,
you.
there were no frills. There were no frills in our home at all. No, when I'm even talking to my sisters, I'm like, you guys, the frills we have in our homes now, we should eat about, we should eat about. There were no frills in our, like it was just
Brilliant
a
basics, just.
normal
Yeah.
home
I love that
of-
for you.
And imagine that is what influences my, as in when the zips came,
course.
my attachment had already been formed, so I was already secure. So now the reason he's surprised is because now remember we met at 19, we got married at 29. So the question is what happened in those 10 years? In those 10 years, we were maybe in the last 4 years there was a name to it. No, in the last 4 years he asked me out
Towards
and I
the
said
marriage.
no. But before
to the marriage.
but before we, you know,
It was
when it was
undefined.
like what people kids these days are calling a situation. Like we are, but it's undefined. There's
You
no
were
name
talking.
to it. But you cannot get into a relationship. I cannot get into a relationship.
Okay.
Like we
I
are
see.
so close. Like we are friends, but the truth of the matter is that we are more than friends. But no one is saying anything. Now for me at that time, because I was I think maybe I can't say that he was okay. I think he's an avoidant. But I questioned it.
He 1000%
He's an auntie now. Auntie, I'm trying to appear morally upright.
I know him. He is.
No, but I want to talk for myself. I want to talk for myself.
Yeah.
I questioned it. I was like, we are in a thing.
Nah,
This thing, you understand? Because that's how secure attachers. Like, if I'm giving you, I expect you to give me. Now, I was giving him, he was giving me, but he was holding.
Vocalize
back.
your needs.
You understand? He was holding back. So imagine, our dating story has always disturbed me. I've always been like, why wasn't our story like the typical story where the person comes and they die and they ask you and then I take a year thinking,
Guys, that's by the way. They are there.
Like
So what was it? What did it
I was
look like?
we were friends. and before we knew it, we liked each other. Now me, I because we like each other, in my head I was like, okay, so this should ordinarily progress to something else. And then now for him, I think he's just like, what is this? Oh my God, what have I gotten into? So now we were forever like this.
You're also in All Saints, which gave a certain atmosphere, because at the time, remember when we were dating, All Saints had this thing of, if you're dating, remember when like Sonia and I were, the minute we said we were dating, the church called us up to the front during service and said, these two are now in a relationship, we pray for them to get married. It was in a Sunday service.
I don't remember.
That day, Sonia was so horrified. Because we had said it in confidence.
They hadn't told you.
Now, there was this thing about if you date, you guys are going to get married. It was like, if you guys come together, there was that air. And I remember when, I don't think you'll mind, when Nelson and Jackie were dating, or Nelson and Sarah, there was this thing of, how can you guys start dating? Because for us, dating meant you're dating for marriage.
No, Joel, no, I disagree. Because for me, my observations are from what I felt.
But don't you think it influenced him?
No. For me, I feel like what I felt inside was here. So for me, even outside, when people would say the things, we don't care. I told you, like secure touches. You say your touches, we don't care.
That's what I'm saying. For her, it didn't matter. But I remember when we would sit together as guys. For a lot of the men who were at church, we had to remove, because there was this burden of, as the man, you are going to lead this home. Remember, it was like, as for me and my house, we shall, whatever. It was such responsibility. And I remember,
I wasn't, for me, I wasn't even thinking about who is going to lead the home. I was thinking about,
I think it's for the men, it was a little bit different, because when we'd have our thing of a few good men, even Samuel would come and say, guys, don't talk to a girl unless you're prepared to go and talk to her father and say, I'm going to take her hand. Well, like, what now I'm going to take her where? to my door?
Tell boys, you're telling me this now? And I remember I've had those kinds of conversations with my child. I'm sorry, he's a teenager.
It was a big thing.
But anyway, so for me, imagine,
be ready. Be ready to speak to her father, and be ready to make sure there are no children that I'm
It wasn't a frivolous thing. It wasn't, let's see where it goes. It was, come when you know. And actually, because at the time, Andrew, myself, and Nelson, because we were interested in the people where we
Andrew, Nelson, Peter,
the people that were dating, yes.
They are there.
God bless.
In their long-term relationship and friendship.
Even and we used to lie to each other.
No, even you just
throwing a name, Patrick. Anyway, we got to a point. I remember we went for prayer meetings, and at a certain point, Nelson left because he said, "You guys, you're trying to ask me, am I going to marry this person that I am dating?" I'm like, I'm dating them to see if I can marry them. But for us, it was, unless you know you're going to marry them, don't date. So there was so much, we are praying, we are from that guy's side. I think it influenced some of the ways we thought about things.
Like, yes,
because I don't know, but for me, I just know, because we had such an alive relationship outside of church.
You were so
like outside of all this drama, like us.
Are they going to put a picture?
We're going to put their picture.
It's alright.
It's like a picture of Muchala, no man, or mommy, no Muchala,
the girls that I shared, bro. No, so anyway, so we had an active relationship, but I remember at some point thinking that I might be anxious, because I'm like, we're in this thing.
But you were anxious, weren't you?
No, but you see
at the time, the situation.
No, but you see with the thing of maybe they actually say that most secure attachers misdiagnose themselves, because sometimes if they end up with an insecure attacher, they are expecting you to reciprocate. We expect, if you're reciprocating, we expect dynamics. So that's what I expected. So imagine for me,
you guys are fragile.
The state of mind,
like us.
Do you know the best thing attachment styles did for me? It explained how our
what you couldn't understand.
And it made me okay with it. It made me okay with how this person was like this.
You were bothered about how
I was so bothered because I wanted my story to be like, I want my story to be like that.
But the story ended well.
By the way, the reason I like the book Attached more than the others is because
she said, look at this one.
They are very harsh towards avoidance. They make avoidance, read that book, they make avoidance realize that they are problematic. Let me tell you the one flaw of avoidance. Avoidance think they are better than other people.
They do. They think I'm okay, you're not. They think I'm okay, you're not.
Is that what you think?
No,
I know for a fact. They think, they expect, they don't understand why you have a problem.
Why you want
how you can be there and you're dependent on somebody else. They don't understand.
Let me ask you,
they think that for me, this position where I am, I'm independent, I'm self-soothing, why are you not?
So I think that's where the difference is. So I understand what you're saying, but for me, I've always known that to each their own. I've never felt the pressure to make someone understand me. Actually, when people ask me questions, I'm like, you're asking me things, but usually they're trying to make me make sense to them. Like, I've never asked you to make sense to me.
Leave your side.
No, let me just finish. Let me just finish.
Yeah.
So like, I think where I kind of drift a little is that when I make a decision, all that stuff fades. But before, like you said, before, I'm like, oh, this is a very big, weighty thing. And
I have my theories
for you,
about Joel.
I want to ask you, the reason I'm asking this question is, I'm perplexed as to, you got into a place that you're happy with, right? You're happy in your relationship. Yeah. What I'm asking is, what is it about the story that bothered you? Because you ended up in a good place.
I needed an explanation.
You wanted it to make sense to you.
I needed it to make sense to me. I needed an explanation.
I think that's where you're fascinating to me, because for me, the journey,
I'm so happy
as long as I end up here, I'm like,
guys, we are
because the world is so full of, I've never gone through things straight. I'm always the one my ID is not working.
No, but Joel,
I'm the one where things are
you
not
have to understand where this is coming
I'm
from.
fascinated. That's what I'm saying. I'm fascinated.
You understand? I'm a woman, so already you're thinking.
You are?
No. So because I'm saying
first stand up and they see. She said she's not going to wear my suit.
Last time, but Primah, her body is budding.
I just need to become an athlete.
When she stood up to come and come to the side of
She came.
Primah, is budding.
I am a secure catcher.
Anyway, you guys, we imagine we had 8 questions. But we have stopped on.
Didn't we say on the chat we shall never
we had
reach
said
all
4.
of them?
So do you feel like you show up better and you appreciate how he shows up? Has learning about your attachment styles made your relationship better?
I really thank God that my story turned out this way. Because remember, I thank God that my story turned out. Do you know why? Because remember, people, I married the potential. I married potential. My most important thing was faith. Like, I was not considering this. Like, we were young. Like, for me, I was young. And then imagine, it turned out so well. Now imagine, at the back of my mind, I had a question. I was like, this thing, was it, did I want it? And then the person feels like no, but it settled the conundrum in my head. And then because now we are so stable, in my head I'm like, he's not even avoidant because he's in a stable thing. You understand? Because it's in a secure thing. Now the thing is, you get, but I really, really needed that thing to be resolved.
Mr. Chambade, you need to come on the show.
And it was,
he would never. We are going to come to your home and we're going to ask you questions. Don't sing praise and worship songs for us.
He'll ask you which
No, but you know what's killing me? You know how people talk about, when you talk about your people in the world are like, I have a friend who's like, you talk about your things there. When you start talking about your things, that's when things pour. I'm like,
now that we know that we have in our therapo, we have a working marriage, we can end that show.
Investigate your attachment style and how that influences how you relate. Yeah, so see you next time.
Bye.
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 We've ended abruptly.
Until next time, we are PPJ.
Okay, PPJ. I didn't say anything.
You go.